Imagine holding a small, ordinary quarter in your hand, one that's been jingling in pockets for decades, completely unaware that it could change your life forever. Collectors around the country are still shaking their heads over this one, because the story behind the 1985 D. Washington quarter is as mysterious as it is astonishing that it all started with a routine bankroll. A collector in Ohio, known only to insiders as Mike, was sorting through change he'd gotten from a vending machine. Among hundreds of regular quarters, one coin caught his eye. At first glance, it looked like any other 1985 D. But the moment he flipped it over, his heart skipped a beat. There was something different, something no one had expected. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The 1985 D. Washington quarter is famous among numismatists for a specific minting anomaly. Not all of them, mind you. Only a rare handful bear this unusual mark, a detail so subtle that it almost blends into the surface of the coin. Dealers were shocked when the discovery went public. Suddenly, every collector in the country was checking their own rolls, hoping for the same miracle. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle, and it all started with a single, overlooked coin. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Word spread like wildfire through auction houses. This was no ordinary collector's find. It was a historical anomaly. Experts confirmed that a very specific die error had occurred during the minting of the 1985 D. Only a few coins were struck this way before the error was caught and corrected, making the surviving specimens nearly priceless. Suddenly, Mike's mundane vending machine haul became a headline. Ohio man discovers $1 million coin in pocket change. Collectors rushed to their local banks, shaking rolls of quarters, hoping for a glimpse of this miracle coin. Dealers who had ignored ordinary 1985 D quarters for decades were now offering thousands, even tens of thousands, for the faintest signs of the anomaly. The market shifted overnight. This coin became a legend, not just for its monetary value, but for the story of how a regular person could stumble upon such fortune by sheer chance. The detail that makes this coin so extraordinary is deceptively small. Experts refer to it as a doubling effect on the obverse lettering, a subtle shadow that only shows under careful magnification. Many collectors overlook it, thinking it's just a scratch or dirt. But if you know what to look for, it practically jumps off the coin at you. And that small difference is the golden ticket, the key that can turn a simple quarter into $1 million treasure. Some of the coins out there are clever counterfeits. Not just any counterfeit. These are so well made that only trained eyes can distinguish them. For a collector who doesn't know the signs, this could be heartbreaking. You have to check the alignment, the depth of the strike, and the exact curvature of the mint mark. Dealers who understand these subtleties have been known to pay six-figure sums for a genuine specimen. One misstep could cost a potential collector a fortune, which is why understanding every detail is critical. It's possible. Millions of 1985 D. Washington quarters were minted, and the anomaly is incredibly rare, yes, but history has shown us time and again that these coins surface in the most unlikely places. One coin turned a school teacher's retirement savings into $1 million nest egg. Another surfaced in a drawer of forgotten coins at a gas station in New Mexico. Every discovery reinforces the almost mythical allure of the 1985 D anomaly. Every few weeks, a new story emerges. One collector found a coin tucked between old family photos in a shoebox. He had no idea what it was until he took it to a local dealer, who immediately recognized the subtle doubling on the lettering. That one coin alone sold for over $1 million, a sum that seemed unimaginable for something so small and seemingly ordinary. The excitement isn't just in the money. It's in the story of discovery, the thrill of finding a hidden gem in plain sight. And the more the story spreads, the crazier it gets. Auction houses report bidding wars that stretch for days. Collectors who have owned this coin for decades suddenly realize they're sitting on a fortune. Dealers scramble to verify specimens, cross-reference minting records, and locate the next potential find. Every coin has a story, but few have captured the imagination of the numismatic world like the 1985 D. Washington quarter. Look closely at the D mint mark on the reverse. Examine the obverse for tiny doubling on the letters of Liberty and In God We Trust. Use a magnifying glass, and don't be fooled by scratches, dirt, or where genuine doubling has a depth and shadow that can't be replicated by damage or age. If the quarter shows these specific characteristics, you may be holding something truly extraordinary. Be careful, though. Mistakes are easy to make, and many collectors have been burned chasing fakes. Compare with verified images, consult a trusted dealer, and never rush a purchase. The value of this coin is not just in its rarity, but in its authenticity. One misjudgment, and a potential million-dollar opportunity could slip away. Collectors who have held this coin describe an almost spiritual feeling. The thrill, the disbelief, and the life-changing potential all wrapped into one tiny disc of metal. Imagine holding a coin that could turn decades of diligent saving into instant wealth. Imagine the stories you could tell about how this coin came into your life, seemingly by fate, by chance, by luck. That is the power of the 1985 D. Washington quarter anomaly. History is full of these miraculous finds. Each new discovery reminds the coin world that fortune favors the vigilant, the curious, and the patient. And the truth is, you never know where the next million-dollar coin will surface. In a jar, under a sofa cushion, or even in your own pocket change. The 1985 D. Washington quarter is more than metal. It's a symbol of hope, a beacon for collectors, and proof that sometimes the smallest things can hold the greatest value. This exact quarter could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. The thrill, the possibility, and the sheer jaw-dropping value of this coin make it one of the most sought-after treasures in modern numismatics. You might be closer than you think to holding a fortune that could change your life forever. Imagine holding a piece of pocket change in your hand, unaware that it could transform your life forever. That's exactly what happened with one tiny New Hampshire quarter minted in 2000 at Philadelphia. A coin so rare, so mysterious, collectors and dealers alike were left gasping in disbelief. Most people see a quarter and think of it as just a quarter. But this one hides a secret, a tiny anomaly that instantly turns ordinary metal into something worth $1 million. It wasn't just minted with precision. It was minted with a mistake so subtle, so cleverly hidden, that even experienced collectors could easily overlook it. The story begins with a man sorting through a bag of coins he'd been saving for years. He had no idea he was about to stumble onto a treasure that could change his life. He noticed something odd about the quarter's edge, a detail so minute, most would have tossed it back without a second glance. But he knew something was different. Something about the way the date sat on the coin, the slight doubling of the mint mark, it all screamed rarity. What happened next stunned the entire coin world. He took the quarter to a local dealer who, at first glance, shrugged. "It's just a New Hampshire quarter," the dealer said. But when it was sent to a professional grading company, their reaction was one of sheer shock. The coin had a rare error known among top collectors as a die clash, a misalignment in the minting process that occurred in only a handful of coins that year. Suddenly, the quarter wasn't just a collector's item. It was $1 million miracle hiding in plain sight. Collectors were stunned. Auctions began, whispers spread through online forums, and dealers were rushing to get their hands on anything resembling this anomaly. One coin, in particular, sold for an amount so large it seemed unreal, proving that even in today's world, a single piece of change could make someone a millionaire overnight. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Look closely at the P mint mark. In the rare 2000 P New Hampshire quarter, the mark is slightly doubled and sits unusually close to the first digit of the date. It's subtle, almost invisible to the untrained eye, but in the world of coin collecting, these details are everything. Overlooking this could mean missing your chance at a life-changing discovery, and the story doesn't end there. One collector who uncovered this quarter realized something even more astonishing. The error wasn't documented in the official mint records. That meant he literally held a piece of history no one knew existed. Dealers clamored, auction houses scrambled, and suddenly, the coin market was electrified by the buzz of this one extraordinary piece. After all, millions were minted in 2000. But this was not about quantity. It was about perfection interrupted by a tiny, almost invisible mistake. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle simply because he saw what most people didn't. Imagine sifting through your own drawer of coins and realizing one of them carries a secret like this. That's exactly what happened to dozens of collectors after this discovery. The coin world went from skeptical to frenzied in a matter of days. Dealers offered thousands just to examine similar coins, hoping to uncover another million-dollar opportunity. Identifying this coin isn't just about looking at the mint mark. You need to study the date, the spacing, the relief of the design. On the 2000 P New Hampshire quarter, the P is closer to the first zero in the year, and the state outline on the reverse side shows a faint doubling at the left ridge. These are the telltale signs. Miss them, and you could easily dismiss a million-dollar find as ordinary change. And every few months, another coin surfaces with this rare characteristic. Some have been found in old jars, some in pocket change forgotten for decades. Each one causes the same ripple of excitement, the same shockwave through the numismatic community. Imagine being the person who first spots it, the one who recognizes that this is not just a quarter, but a ticket to unimaginable fortune. This is what makes collecting coins so mesmerizing. It's not the metals, the designs, or even the history, though all of that matters. It's the thrill of discovering a secret, a hidden gem that could instantly turn an ordinary life into a millionaire's story. Every coin holds a possibility. And with the 2000 P New Hampshire quarter, that possibility is very real. Collectors were shocked when word spread that a single quarter could fetch prices over $1 million. Dealers are still scrambling, trying to track down every surviving example. And ordinary people, people just like you, are suddenly realizing that their pocket change might be hiding a miracle. Start with the mint mark. Look for that double P. Examine the spacing of the date. Check the state outline on the reverse carefully. Compare it to a standard coin from the same year. Subtle differences make all the difference in the world. Mistakes like this are what the top collectors chase relentlessly, and for good reason. And the emotional payoff is enormous. Imagine holding the coin that everyone else overlooked. Imagine feeling the weight of history in your hand. Imagine knowing that in one moment, your life could change forever. That's not a fantasy. That's reality for those who spotted the 2000 P New Hampshire quarter. Every time this coin surfaces, it reminds collectors why they fell in love with the hobby in the first place. It's a mixture of suspense, discovery, and the sheer possibility of wealth. It's about realizing that treasures can exist in the most ordinary places: your pocket, your drawer, even a jar of coins gathering dust on a shelf. And remember, mistakes like this don't happen often. That's why each discovery sends ripples through the coin world. Auctions explode, collectors hold their breath, and millions of dollars change hands. The thrill is palpable, almost electric, and you feel it even as a spectator. Why now? You know the signs. Check the mint mark, the date spacing, the subtle doubling on the state design. And don't rush. Many collectors lose potential million-dollar finds because they don't examine coins carefully. Patience, attention, and knowledge are your greatest allies. What seems ordinary could be extraordinary. One man's casual sorting of coins turned into a million-dollar revelation. One tiny New Hampshire quarter, minted in 2000, changed lives forever. The excitement, the drama, the suspense, it's all real, and it's all waiting for the next collector bold enough to see it. This exact quarter could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Don't let it slip away. Look closely, study carefully, and uncover the hidden miracle that could transform your life forever. You won't believe this, but one 2017 P. Ozark Riverway's quarter almost vanished into a couch cushion, and now it could be worth over $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single coin, worth more than a house in some parts of America, hiding in plain sight. Collectors across the country are stunned. Dealers are racing to track them down. And one man's ordinary pocket change turned into $1 million miracle overnight. It all starts with a small minting quirk, barely noticeable to the untrained eye. When the U.S. Mint produced the 2017 Ozark Riverways quarter, most coins were flawless. But in a handful of cases, a tiny, almost invisible misalignment occurred, a flaw so subtle that even experienced collectors could miss it. This minor imperfection is the exact thing that turns an otherwise ordinary quarter into a jaw-dropping treasure. Imagine walking into your living room, shuffling through a jar of coins, and realizing that one of them carries the potential to change your life forever. That's exactly what happened to one collector in Missouri. He had been saving change for years, never suspecting that his small stack of quarters included a 2017 P. Ozark Riverways coin with a rare double die obverse, a minting error that experts now say is worth close to $1 million. Collectors couldn't believe the story. This coin, once meant to simply circulate and pay for parking meters, suddenly commanded attention from the most elite auction houses. Bids skyrocketed in online forums. Private collectors who had spent decades hunting rare coins suddenly recognized the coin's true value. One dealer later admitted that seeing this coin in person was like witnessing history itself. But here's where it gets even more dramatic. The coin didn't just sit quietly in a collection. When it was officially authenticated, it revealed something extraordinary. A die crack along the rim that perfectly matched a misprint in only 0.01% of the 2017 P. Ozark Riverways quarters produced. That tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and why most people completely overlook it. The story doesn't stop there. In one auction, a man purchased a similar coin for $3,000, thinking it was just a neat collectible. Within weeks, experts recognized it as the same rare misprint, now valued at over $1 million. Imagine turning $3,000 into $1 million windfall without ever leaving your home. Collectors were stunned. Families who had stored jars of quarters in their basements suddenly realized they might be sitting on fortunes without even knowing it. The excitement spread like wildfire. Online forums exploded with discussions, images, and debates. Every coin collector wanted to know the secret. And here's what separates the million-dollar coins from the ordinary ones. It's all about the mint mark, the die alignment, and the subtle anomalies only visible under magnification. One tiny scratch, one imperfection in the design, and suddenly, you're holding a coin that could rival the most expensive numismatic treasures in the world. But the suspense doesn't end there. Dealers warn that many of these rare coins are still out there, hidden in circulation. They could be at the bottom of a purse, wedged between couch cushions, or even in your own coin jar at home. And because the flaw is so easy to miss, even experienced collectors can overlook it. That's why experts are calling this one of the most exciting discoveries in modern coin collecting history. If you want to identify one of these million-dollar coins, here's what to look for. First, check the obverse carefully. Look for slight doubling on the lettering, especially around the year and the Liberty inscription. Second, examine the rim. Die cracks or small anomalies are a telltale sign. Third, pay attention to the mint mark. For this coin, the P is critical. Misaligned or unusually raised mint marks are a hallmark of the rare variants. Finally, don't forget to use proper lighting and magnification. What seems ordinary to the naked eye may be extraordinary under closer inspection. Collectors are shocked because these coins are not just valuable, they're historically significant. They capture a moment in time when the U.S. Mint experimented with new dies, producing small batches of coins that would eventually become legends. And the thrill isn't just about the money. It's about holding a piece of history that could have vanished forever. After discovering his rare quarter, he didn't just sell it. He shared the experience with friends and fellow collectors, inspiring an entire community to search their own change jars. Suddenly, ordinary Americans were hoping that a simple pocket coin could transform their lives. That sense of possibility, the idea that fortune could be hiding in plain sight, is what keeps collectors awake at night, scanning every quarter they come across. This coin's journey from a mint in Pennsylvania to a million-dollar treasure shows the unpredictability of the coin world. Dealers never expected this coin to surface in circulation. Collectors never imagined that a coin from 2017 could command such a price. And yet, here we are, witnessing a modern-day miracle unfold right before our eyes. So, if you think your change is just spare money, think again. This exact quarter could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Don't underestimate the power of a tiny coin. Check your jars. Inspect your coins. Study the details. That one small, seemingly ordinary quarter could be the ticket to a life-changing fortune, and it might just be waiting for you. Time and again, the stories are the same. A coin that was almost thrown away becomes the centerpiece of a millionaire's collection. Families who never considered themselves collectors suddenly find themselves holding history, and the value is undeniable. And the 2017 P. Ozark Riverways quarter? It's one of those once-in-a-lifetime discoveries, rare, unpredictable, and potentially worth $1 million. Collectors and dealers alike are still searching, still discovering, still learning. And every day, someone somewhere is stumbling upon a coin that could redefine their life. Could it be you? Could the next $1 million coin be in your pocket right now, hiding among your spare change? The possibility alone is enough to make any collector's heart race. Don't wait. Start examining your coins. Look for the subtle imperfections, the mint mark quirks, the tiny die cracks. That attention to detail is the difference between an ordinary quarter and $1 million treasure. One man's coin turned into a miracle, and now it's your turn to find the hidden fortune in your own collection. This is not just a story about money. It's about discovery, thrill, and the power of curiosity. The 2017 P. Ozark Riverway's quarter reminds us that even the most mundane objects can hold incredible value. And as you scan your coin jars, remember this: one coin, one tiny flaw, one moment of recognition, and your life could change forever. Yet today, collectors are whispering about it, as if it were a treasure unearthed from a secret vault. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that could transform your life forever. A simple 1994 P. Washington quarter, now valued at over $1 million. Most people pass it by every day, not knowing the fortune hiding in plain sight. It all started with a subtle anomaly at the Philadelphia Mint in 1994. The quarter looked ordinary, the same copper-nickel blend, the same profile of George Washington staring stoically forward. But something went terribly, wonderfully wrong during production. A tiny, almost invisible minting error occurred, a flaw so rare that only a handful of these coins made it out of the mint unscathed. Collectors had no idea this error existed, until one fateful discovery changed everything. One man, an ordinary collector with a habit of checking every coin in his change, noticed something that most would have ignored. It was a faint doubling of the lettering on the reverse side. Washington's name seemed slightly echoed, almost ghost-like. Most people would have shrugged and kept walking, but he had trained eyes. That tiny detail is why this coin is worth millions, and why dealers are now scrambling to trace every single 1994 P quarter in existence. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Word of this error coin leaked to an auction house, and suddenly, normal collectors were faced with a whirlwind of excitement and disbelief. Bidders from across the country flooded the auction, each hoping to claim what seemed impossible: a small, ordinary-looking quarter that could command over $1 million. Collectors were shocked. Some even cried when the hammer fell. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle, and the world of coin collecting was never the same. Stories like this are rare. Consider the coin that a retired schoolteacher found in a jar of spare change. She had no idea that her 1994 P. Washington quarter was the very same error type that had shocked auction houses. She held it, polished it gently, and took it to a dealer for a casual appraisal. Her casual inquiry turned into a life-changing moment. Dealers were rushing to get their hands on this coin, knowing that only a handful existed. They whispered about provenance, minting anomalies, and the exact characteristics that made it one of the rarest Washington quarters ever produced. Collectors are often obsessed with details, and here's where the magic happens. On the reverse side of this coin, look closely at the word quarter dollar. The letters may appear doubled or slightly misaligned. This subtle doubling isn't visible to the untrained eye, but it's the fingerprint of the minting error. Examine George Washington's profile on the front. Some coins show tiny die cracks near the hairline, another secret signature of this rare series. Every flaw, every anomaly, is what has driven the value to over $1 million. And yet, the journey of the 1994 P. Washington quarter is filled with twists. Some coins were accidentally melted down when their rarity was unknown. Others were lost in the shuffle of everyday transactions, pocketed and spent, passed from hand to hand without anyone noticing. The odds of stumbling upon one today are astronomical. Yet, the possibility exists. That same coin could be sitting in your change jar, in your drawer, or even in the cup holder of your car, waiting to reveal its hidden fortune. Imagine standing at a quiet auction, the tension palpable. Every eye on the room is fixed on a coin that looks so simple, yet holds such staggering value. Bidders whisper, their hearts racing, as the auctioneer describes the minting anomaly in hushed, reverent tones. This is no ordinary quarter. This is history, chance, and fortune wrapped in copper nickel. And it all started with a tiny flaw, a barely noticeable error that only a few fortunate eyes have ever seen. But the story doesn't end with discovery. Knowing how to identify this coin is critical. First, check the mint mark. The P indicates Philadelphia, but not all Philadelphia quarters from 1994 have this doubling error. You must inspect the lettering carefully. Under good light, notice the doubled lines in quarter dollar and the slight distortion near Washington's profile. Examine the coin's edges for tiny ridges that may appear uneven, another indicator of this rare minting quirk. Even experienced collectors can miss it if they don't look closely. And here's the kicker: professional grading can make or break its value. Coins with minimal wear and clear doubling command the highest prices. A collector who missed these details could easily undervalue a million-dollar treasure as just another pocket quarter. Many mistakes have been made, and millions of dollars have been lost simply because someone didn't know what to look for. Collectors who've held this coin report a surreal experience. They describe it as holding history, fortune, and mystery in the palm of their hand. The thrill is not just financial. It's emotional, almost spiritual. It's knowing that a small, seemingly ordinary object can hold such incredible power. A reminder that sometimes life-changing opportunities are hidden in plain sight. So, if you're sitting there right now, sifting through change, remember this story. Remember the retired schoolteacher, the auction that shook the collector world, and the faint doubling that makes this quarter priceless. This exact 1994 P. Washington quarter could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Take a careful look, study the details, and don't let a life-changing discovery slip through your fingers, because one tiny mistake at the mint, one barely noticeable anomaly, has the power to turn pocket change into unimaginable fortune. And the next lucky collector could be you. It started like any other quarter, spinning through the hands of everyday Americans. People didn't notice it, and that's exactly why it became one of the most sought-after coins in modern collecting history. Hidden within its design is a tiny, almost imperceptible detail, a minting anomaly so rare that dealers are scrambling to find it, and collectors are paying millions to hold it in their hands. Imagine, for a moment, digging through your pocket change after buying a soda and finding a coin that could instantly transform your life. That's exactly what happened to one man in Ohio. He had no idea that the 2015 D Blue Ridge Parkway quarter he casually picked out of a coin roll would become worth over $1 million. Most people think a quarter is just 25 cents, something to be used and forgotten. But this coin is proof that even the smallest object can hide a fortune. What makes it so valuable isn't just the year or the mint mark. It's a tiny detail on the obverse side, near the mountains, a flaw so subtle that even experienced collectors can miss it at first glance. Collectors were shocked when the news broke. Auction houses reported bids climbing into the millions, and dealers who had overlooked it for years suddenly realized the stakes. One coin, found in a roll of change from a local bank, turned a regular person into a millionaire overnight. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A single collector, holding what seemed to be an ordinary 2015 D Blue Ridge Parkway quarter, realized it had an over-polished die, creating a doubling effect on the lettering. This tiny anomaly was the secret. Only a handful of these coins exist, and each one is potentially worth millions of dollars. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these rare quarters, but they're scarce. Many of these coins slipped through normal circulation unnoticed, and most people will never even recognize one if they hold it in their hand. It's like holding a treasure map that almost no one can read. Imagine the tension when an auction catalog hit the internet, showing the coin in its full glory. Collectors across the country held their breath as the bids soared, hitting numbers that seemed impossible for a simple quarter. This tiny piece of metal, once overlooked, was now a gateway to a life-changing fortune. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. He had bought a few rolls of quarters, thinking he was just stocking up for parking meters. Little did he know that among the hundreds of coins, one would carry a secret worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. That ridge near the Blue Ridge Mountains is the key. A slight doubling of letters, a small die clash along the edge. These are the markers that separate an ordinary quarter from a coin worth $1 million. Miss them, and you'll never know the fortune sitting in your pocket. Collectors and dealers alike are sharing stories of their discoveries. One woman, an avid collector for decades, almost discarded her coin after mistaking it for a regular release. The moment she realized what it was, she rushed to a grading service. Within hours, her 2015 Deep Blue Ridge Parkway quarter was valued at over $1 million, turning her quiet hobby into instant wealth. But there's more to the story than luck. This coin also represents the mysterious artistry of the mint itself. The subtle imperfections, the tiny die errors, and the overlooked production quirks make it one of the most collectible modern quarters ever released. It's a reminder that perfection is rare, and in the world of coins, rarity is everything. First, check the mint mark. D for Denver is essential. Then, look closely at the mountains. Is there an unusual doubling effect in the lettering? Are the ridges sharper or slightly misaligned? Most fakes or common coins won't have these characteristics. This is where your eagle eye can turn a regular coin into $1 million discovery. Even seasoned collectors are taking a second look at their collections. Rolls of 2015 D quarters are being inspected with magnifying glasses, and every coin that shows the tiniest sign of this rare anomaly is being set aside, often with bids or offers that sound unbelievable, and the story doesn't end with discovery. Once authenticated, these coins become legends. Auctions often pit collectors against one another, sending prices sky high. What was once forgotten change now sits in secure vaults, valued in the millions, and remembered forever in numismatic history. Some believe it's sheer luck that these coins survived circulation. Others say it's destiny. But one thing is certain. Holding this coin in your hand is like holding history itself, a reminder that the smallest objects can have the greatest stories. So, if you've ever held a 2015 Deep Blue Ridge Parkway quarter in your pocket or pulled one from a roll of change, don't overlook it. Examine it closely. Look for the doubling on the letters, the subtle die imperfections, and that tiny, almost invisible detail near the mountains. That is the difference between an ordinary quarter and a coin worth $1 million. Collectors are still finding these coins, even years after their release. And every time one surfaces, it makes headlines, inspires awe, and reminds the coin world that treasure is often hidden in plain sight. This exact quarter could be sitting in your drawer right now, waiting to change your life. It could be the one coin among hundreds that holds the secret to over $1 million. The story of the 2015 Deep Blue Ridge Parkway quarter is proof that even in our everyday lives, fortune can appear in the most ordinary places. And if you hold the right coin in your hands, that fortune could be yours.